Have you ever questioned whether the person you're seeing might be seeing others too? Trust is the cornerstone of any relationship, but certain behaviors can leave you wondering if someone is truly committed. It's essential to understand the subtle clues that may give insight into their intentions, but this doesn't mean jumping to conclusions. Instead, it's about observing patterns through a calm and rational lens, staying grounded without being emotionally reactive. In today's video, we're going to dive into 11 signs that could suggest she might be involved with other people. These aren't wild assumptions, but rather practical insights that can help you evaluate the situation with clarity and wisdom. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our reactions, boundaries, and choices. By learning to spot these signs, you'll empower yourself to make decisions that protect your peace of mind and well-being. Before we get started, let me ask you, have you ever noticed red flags in a relationship that you later recognized as significant? Share your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're into content that merges Stoic wisdom with modern relationships, make sure to like, subscribe, and activate the notification bell so you never miss out on future videos. Now, let's get into it and uncover these 11 essential signs you need to watch out for. Inconsistent communication. One of the most telling signs that she may have multiple partners is inconsistent communication. When someone is truly invested in a relationship, they tend to keep communication steady and reliable. But if you notice frequent delays in responses, sudden shifts in her availability, or communication gaps, this could be a sign that her attention is split between multiple people. Inconsistent communication doesn't automatically mean she's being deceitful, but it's a red flag that she might be balancing more than one connection. You may notice moments when she's fully engaged, responding quickly, engaging in deep conversations, showing excitement, only for her to go silent or distant without explanation. If this pattern leaves you questioning why her communication fluctuates so much, take a step back and observe it with calm detachment. Stoicism encourages us not to make hasty emotional judgments, but to calmly identify patterns that could indicate something isn't quite right. This inconsistent behavior is often paired with vagueness. She may offer unclear or evasive explanations for her whereabouts, saying things like, "I've been busy," or "It's been a crazy time," without providing further details. While everyone has their busy moments, persistent ambiguity combined with disappearing acts could be a sign that she's prioritizing her time with others. Another subtle clue to look for is the tone of her communication. When someone is juggling multiple partners, they may become emotionally distant, leading to conversations that feel shallow or rushed. If she reaches out sporadically or only when it's convenient for her, it might indicate that she's managing multiple relationships without wanting to invest deeply in any one of them. So while inconsistent communication doesn't automatically signal that something's wrong, it's a sign worth paying attention to. As Stoicism teaches, it's crucial to observe calmly without allowing emotions to cloud your judgment. If her communication is unreliable or vague, it may be time to evaluate whether this relationship truly aligns with your values and expectations. After all, trust is built on consistency, and without it, the foundation of any relationship could begin to crumble. Plans are always vague or last minute. Another subtle, yet significant, sign that she may have multiple partners is a tendency to keep plans vague or make last-minute arrangements. When someone is genuinely invested in a relationship, they prioritize spending quality time together and are intentional about making plans in advance. But if her plans with you often seem unclear or feel like an afterthought, this could indicate that her attention is divided. You may notice that she avoids committing to specific times or events, often responding with phrases like, "Let's see how the week goes," or "I'll let you know later." At first, these responses might seem harmless, but if they become a recurring pattern, they may suggest that she's keeping her options open. Those who are managing multiple relationships often hesitate to make concrete plans, as they need the flexibility to adjust their schedule based on other commitments. Additionally, her tendency to reach out only at the last minute can also be a red flag. While spontaneous plans can be fun, consistently hearing from her only when it's convenient for her, perhaps late at night or when other plans fall through, could suggest that you're being slotted into her schedule as a backup rather than being prioritized. This behavior could point to a lack of genuine commitment to your time together. You might also notice that her plans tend to lack depth or structure. If your time together often feels rushed or unplanned, it may be because she's balancing commitments with others. For instance, she may suggest meeting up in a hurry, with little attention paid to the details of the date or what you'll do together. This lack of planning might be a sign that she's managing multiple relationships, leaving little room for intentional, meaningful time with you. You may notice she frequently cancels or changes plans at the last minute, offering excuses that seem repetitive or inconsistent. While unpredictability is a part of life, a regular pattern of disorganized and vague plans should not be overlooked. When plans keep changing without clear explanations, it can be a sign that something is off. This behavior often reflects a lack of emotional investment and unclear priorities. Healthy relationships rely on effort, respect, and a commitment to each other's time. Stoic principles encourage us to observe these behaviors calmly and not let frustration cloud our judgment. If you find her plans to be constantly uncertain, or if you feel like an afterthought, it's essential to take a step back. Evaluate whether this relationship matches the time and energy you're willing to invest. Recognizing your own worth and setting boundaries will help you maintain control and clarity. Another concerning sign is if she becomes excessively secretive about her phone or social media. Everyone deserves privacy, but there's a fine line between setting healthy boundaries and engaging in behavior that may raise red flags. If she's protective of her phone or avoids transparency in her online activities, this could suggest she's hiding connections or relationships she doesn't want you to see. For example, you may notice her keeping her phone face down, locking it as soon as you walk in the room, or becoming visibly uncomfortable if you catch a glance at her screen. While privacy is natural, excessive secrecy can be a warning sign, especially if it feels intentional. If she takes frequent calls or texts but refuses to explain who she's talking to, it might indicate that she's managing communication with others. Her behavior on social media can offer additional clues. If her online presence doesn't reflect your relationship, such as not posting pictures of you, rarely engaging with your posts, or being overly secretive about who she interacts with, it might suggest she's keeping her options open. Furthermore, if she's always online but takes hours or even days to respond to your messages, it raises questions about where her true focus lies. Another indicator is her defensiveness. If you ask simple questions like, "Who were you talking to?" or "What made you smile just now?" and she responds defensively or evasively, it may indicate that she's hiding something. In a healthy relationship, transparency comes easily, even when privacy is valued. Secrecy and defensiveness often arise when someone fears being exposed. It's important to approach this with calmness and rationality, as Stoicism teaches us. Avoid jumping to conclusions or reacting impulsively. Observe the patterns over time and build your judgment from there. Trust should always be the foundation of any relationship. When someone behaves secretively or excessively guards their phone and social media, it creates a gap in that trust. While privacy is essential in any relationship, excessive secrecy about phones or social media can signal deeper issues. Pay attention to actions rather than just words, and handle the situation with clarity and emotional control. If you notice persistent behavior undermining transparency, it's an opportunity to take a step back, express your concerns, and assess whether the relationship aligns with your values and expectations. Trust grows where openness and honesty are present. A significant red flag is emotional distance. When someone is truly invested in a relationship, they naturally seek deeper, more meaningful conversations. They share their thoughts, feelings, and dreams. However, if she avoids such discussions and appears emotionally distant, it may suggest her attention and energy are split. Emotional distance often arises when someone is trying to maintain superficial connections with multiple people while avoiding the intimacy that comes with deeper emotional involvement. One of the first signs of emotional distance is her tendency to steer conversations towards superficial or trivial topics. She may engage in small talk or discuss day-to-day activities, but steer clear of deeper conversations about feelings, goals, or relationship expectations. If you attempt to bring up something meaningful, like asking about her past, her dreams, or your connection, she might shut down, deflect the conversation, or change the subject entirely. This pattern of avoidance can suggest she's reluctant to invest emotionally because she's keeping her options open. Another indicator is a lack of vulnerability. Emotional intimacy requires openness, the willingness to share fears, hopes, and personal experiences. If she keeps everything surface level and rarely lets you in, it may indicate she's maintaining emotional distance to protect herself. For instance, when you share something personal, she might respond with indifference or fail to reciprocate with her own experiences. This reluctance to connect emotionally often reflects a lack of genuine commitment. Her emotional distance may also show up in a lack of curiosity about your life. Someone who is truly invested in you will ask questions, engage with your thoughts, and show interest in your goals. If she seems uninterested or avoids these deeper conversations, it could indicate that she's not fully emotionally present in the relationship. If you notice she seldom follows up on things you've shared or seems detached when it comes to truly understanding you, it might be because her emotional energy is divided among different people. This emotional divide can lead to unpredictable behavior. On some days, she might appear warm and engaged, but on others, she can come across as distant or uninterested. This inconsistency can leave you questioning where you stand in her life. Those who are involved with multiple people often find it difficult to offer consistent emotional availability, as their focus is spread thin across various connections. Emotional distance, coupled with this inconsistency, can be a clear indicator that she's not fully invested in you. Recognizing these patterns is crucial, especially when they persist and affect the relationship's depth. As we learn from Stoicism, the key is to observe such behavior without overreacting. It is essential to stay calm, reflect, and consider whether the relationship meets your emotional needs. Meaningful relationships require openness, trust, and vulnerability. Without these, the bond remains superficial and unfulfilling. Another subtle sign that she may not be entirely focused on you is her tendency to cancel, reschedule, or back out of plans frequently. While it's normal for people to occasionally need to change their plans, a repeated pattern of cancellations without valid reasons may indicate you aren't a priority for her. She could be spreading her time and energy across multiple commitments, including possibly other relationships. At first, her reasons for canceling might sound justifiable. She's busy, feeling unwell, or something urgent came up. However, if you notice this becoming a frequent excuse, especially when her actions contradict her words, such as finding time for other activities or people, it's a red flag that her attention is elsewhere. Moreover, how she reacts after canceling plans speaks volumes. If she doesn't seem apologetic or doesn't suggest alternative plans to make it up to you, it could signal a lack of emotional investment in the relationship. Someone who truly values their connection with you will take the time to make up for a missed date and ensure that their actions align with their words. If you notice vague or inconsistent reasons for cancellations, such as one week it's work-related and the next it's a family issue, but the details don't quite add up, it's time to pay attention. These contradictions can leave you feeling uncertain about where you stand in her life. Stoicism teaches us to observe these patterns rationally and not to ignore them, as they often reveal deeper truths about her priorities. Rescheduling plans is another subtle behavior worth considering. While it might seem like an effort to keep things on track, repeatedly pushing plans back could indicate she's struggling to balance multiple responsibilities. If her schedule seems unpredictable or your time together feels secondary, it's worth reflecting on whether she's truly invested in nurturing a consistent connection with you. In situations like this, Stoicism advises focusing on what you can control: your time, energy, and boundaries. If you feel like you're being placed on the back burner, it's essential to reassess the relationship and determine whether it aligns with your expectations and values. Consistency in effort and time is foundational to any meaningful relationship. Without it, the connection risks becoming hollow. Another subtle sign that she may be juggling multiple relationships is when her stories don't seem to align. Inconsistent explanations or contradictions in her accounts might suggest she's struggling to manage different narratives for different people. While it's normal to forget minor details occasionally, frequent inconsistencies could point to a deeper issue. For example, she may tell you she's with friends one day, only to offer a slightly different version of the same story later. Or she might claim to be busy with work, but her social media tells a different story. These small gaps in her stories might seem inconsequential at first, but over time, they begin to form a troubling pattern. When her words and actions don't match, it's important to take note. Another red flag is how she responds to follow-up questions. If she brushes off your inquiries with vague responses like, "Oh, I don't remember," or "It's not important," it could be a tactic to avoid revealing details that might expose inconsistencies. Someone who has nothing to hide will provide clear, straightforward answers. However, someone managing multiple connections might get defensive or dismissive when pressed for more details. Additionally, their explanations might feel rehearsed or overly detailed, as if they're trying to cover up the inconsistencies in their stories. Recognizing these signs is important for maintaining a relationship that meets your needs. Emotional availability, consistency, and honesty are critical for a strong, healthy connection. If these are lacking, it may be time to reflect on whether this relationship aligns with your values and expectations. When someone appears to provide more details than necessary, or when their story slightly shifts each time they recount it, it could be a sign that they are attempting to cover up inconsistencies or confusion about their activities. These shifts might seem subtle, but they are noticeable if you maintain a calm and observant approach, as Stoicism advises. Rather than reacting emotionally, it's crucial to focus on patterns. Observing someone's repeated behaviors can offer more insight than any single instance. One behavior to look out for is avoidance when contradictions arise. For example, if you bring up a detail that conflicts with something she said before, she might quickly steer the conversation in another direction or become defensive. This reaction often stems from discomfort or a fear of being caught in a lie. Genuine individuals are typically open to clearing up misunderstandings, whereas those with divided attention may sidestep the issue altogether. When you notice inconsistencies in her narrative, it could signal that her focus is divided. While it's important to stay calm and not make accusations, these discrepancies shouldn't be disregarded. As Stoicism teaches, focus on what you can control, your own reactions and boundaries. Trust in a relationship is founded on transparency and honesty. If these elements are absent, it might be time to assess if the relationship aligns with your core values and emotional needs. Another potential red flag is when she avoids introducing you to her close friends or family. If someone is genuinely invested in a relationship and envisions a future together, they typically want to integrate their partner into their life. This often includes introducing them to their inner circle. However, if she consistently avoids this step, it could be a sign that she's keeping her options open or maintaining multiple relationships. At the beginning of any relationship, it's understandable to take time before involving friends or family, but over time, such introductions naturally become a part of a committed relationship. If months go by and she still keeps you separate from her social circle, it's important to ask why. She may be intentionally avoiding situations where you could uncover other aspects of her life, such as the possibility of other relationships. Another warning sign is if she's secretive about her friendships. For instance, when you ask about the people she spends time with, her responses might remain vague, or she may avoid offering specific names. You might notice she spends time with friends, but you're never invited to meet them or join in their activities. This behavior could suggest that she is compartmentalizing her life, deliberately keeping certain areas separate to prevent you from seeing the full picture of her connections. Pay attention to how she reacts when you suggest meeting her friends or family. If she's genuinely invested in the relationship, she'll likely be eager for you to meet the people who matter most to her. On the other hand, if she repeatedly makes excuses, saying they are too busy or it's not the right time yet, it could be a sign that she's avoiding transparency. She might fear that introducing you to her inner circle will complicate matters or reveal contradictions in her story. Her behavior in public settings can also offer clues. If, when you're together, she seems hesitant to acknowledge you in social settings or avoids introducing you to people she knows, it might be a sign that she's not fully committed to the relationship. This reluctance to connect you with her world could indicate that she's managing multiple relationships and fears being exposed. In summary, avoiding introductions to friends or family is often a significant red flag. While there could be personal reasons, such as past trauma or insecurities, it's essential to look at whether this behavior is part of a broader pattern of secrecy. As Stoicism reminds us, focus on the observable behaviors and trust your instincts. Healthy, genuine connections thrive on openness and integration, not compartmentalization. If she continues to keep you at a distance, it's an opportunity to reevaluate whether the relationship aligns with your values and long-term goals. Another aspect to consider is her social media presence and how it aligns with your relationship. In the modern age, social media often reflects how someone presents themselves to the world. If her online presence doesn't reflect your relationship, it could suggest that she is maintaining multiple connections or curating a version of herself that excludes you. While privacy is a personal right, noticeable patterns of secrecy or misalignment with reality shouldn't be ignored. For example, if she's active on social media, posting photos, sharing updates, and engaging with others, but there's no sign of you in any of her posts, it may indicate that she's deliberately leaving you out. Not everyone feels comfortable sharing their relationship online, but someone who is genuinely committed will often include their partner in some way, whether through occasional posts, tags, or mentions. If you're absent entirely, it could signal that she's keeping her options open. Another red flag emerges in the nature of her interactions with others online. If she frequently likes posts, leaves flirty comments, or engages with other men without acknowledging you, it could raise questions about her commitment. Social media interactions often blur boundaries, and if you feel her online behavior doesn't match her words, it's worth addressing. Pay attention to how her actions online align with the dynamic you share offline. When discussing her behavior in relation to her social media activity, one of the first things to watch for is if she becomes defensive or dismissive when the topic comes up. If she downplays it by saying things like, "It's just social media, don't take it too seriously," while simultaneously hiding or controlling what you can see, it could signal that she's concealing something. Transparency within a relationship doesn't require you to have full access to her online life, but it should make you feel confident that she's being upfront with you. Another area to observe is how she portrays her lifestyle online. If she presents herself as single, posting photos or captions that suggest she's unattached or avoids mentioning a partner altogether, it's worth considering the reasons behind this. People who manage multiple relationships often curate their online image to appear available to others, creating a disconnect between their digital persona and the reality of their relationship. If her social media activity feels at odds with the relationship you're in, this could be an opportunity to step back and reflect. While social media isn't always an exact reflection of reality, it often reveals deeper truths about someone's intentions and priorities. If her online behavior raises doubts or feels inconsistent, it's important to assess whether the relationship aligns with your values, expectations for transparency, and mutual trust. Another red flag is when she disappears for extended periods without explanation. If she frequently vanishes without offering a clear reason, it could signal a lack of commitment or that she's managing multiple relationships. In a healthy relationship, communication is consistent and accountability is expected. If she becomes unreachable or silent without providing a valid explanation, it's worth questioning where her attention is truly focused. Initially, her disappearances might seem innocent. She could claim to be busy with work or dealing with personal matters. While everyone needs their space at times, a consistent pattern of disappearing with vague explanations should raise concerns. For example, if she doesn't respond to your messages or calls for days, then reappears without acknowledging the absence, it suggests she's avoiding being open with you. You should also pay attention to her behavior when she returns. If she seems distant, evasive, or overly casual about her absence, it could indicate that she's dividing her time and energy elsewhere. Phrases like, "I just needed some time," or "I had a lot going on," may be used as a way to avoid a deeper conversation. While respecting her need for space is crucial, a prolonged absence without clear reasoning can erode trust over time. These unexplained absences may coincide with other suspicious behaviors, such as her becoming more protective of her schedule or refusing to share where she's been. If she's regularly unavailable during certain times, like weekends, holidays, or specific evenings, it could suggest that she's prioritizing someone else during those moments. If she's avoiding sharing details, it could be an attempt to manage multiple connections without revealing the truth. It's important to approach this behavior calmly and with a stoic mindset. Instead of reacting emotionally, observe her actions over time. Look for consistency, as trust is built on open communication and accountability. If her frequent disappearances create uncertainty and prevent a solid emotional connection from forming, it's time to reflect on whether this behavior fits within your expectations for honesty and transparency. Finally, a lack of genuine investment in the relationship can be another indicator of her involvement with others. If her commitment feels shallow, detached, or inconsistent, it suggests her emotional energy is being divided. A person who is truly committed will invest time, effort, and enthusiasm into nurturing the relationship. If you're always the one initiating plans or checking in on her, it might mean she's not prioritizing you. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual effort, with both partners contributing to the connection. If she seems disengaged or indifferent, you might feel like you're carrying the weight of the relationship alone. Another warning sign is when she avoids deep, meaningful conversations about the future, your shared goals, or exclusivity. If she dodges questions about commitment or responds with vague answers, it suggests she may not view the relationship as something long-term. In situations like these, it's essential to observe carefully, remain patient, and stay true to your values. Statements such as, "Let's just see where this goes," might seem harmless, but consistent hesitation to invest emotionally could suggest that you're not her primary focus. It's important to pay attention to how much effort she dedicates to understanding you. A woman truly interested in you will make an effort to learn more about you, asking questions, remembering key details about your life, and showing genuine interest in your aspirations and dreams. If she rarely follows up on what you've shared or appears uninterested in getting to know you on a deeper level, it could signal emotional detachment. People who are balancing multiple relationships often don't have the time or energy to build deeper connections with any one person. Her actions can often reveal more than her words. If she tells you she cares about you but doesn't show it through consistent support, presence, or follow-through, there's a disconnect. For example, she might agree to spend time together, but frequently cancel or seem distracted when you're with her. This inconsistency highlights that her investment in the relationship might be shallow. In relationships, mutual effort, emotional depth, and consistent actions are essential for trust and connection to thrive. Without these elements, the bond suffers. Stoicism teaches us to observe these behaviors with clarity, not settling for less than we deserve. If you feel undervalued or unappreciated, it's important to take a step back and assess whether the relationship truly aligns with your values and needs. A partner who is genuinely invested will put in the effort to nurture the connection and will never leave you questioning their intentions. One of the most telling signs that she may be seeing multiple partners is when her behavior changes unexpectedly, without any clear reason. When someone is juggling multiple relationships, their time, energy, and emotional focus can shift unpredictably, leading to inconsistent or erratic actions. While occasional mood shifts are normal, repeated and sudden changes in behavior, especially when there is no clear explanation, may suggest that her attention is divided. For example, She might go from being affectionate and attentive one week to distant and disinterested the next. One week, she's eager to spend time with you and engage in meaningful conversations, and the next, she becomes unresponsive, dismissive, or seems distracted. These shifts often leave you feeling confused, wondering what caused such a dramatic change in her behavior. If she avoids offering a clear explanation, it could be because she is balancing other commitments or relationships. Another sign is inconsistency in her emotional availability. She may show interest when it's convenient, but pull away when you try to deepen the connection. This hot and cold behavior is often seen when someone is trying to maintain multiple relationships, as their emotional energy becomes stretched thin. If she seems overly enthusiastic one moment and emotionally distant the next, it's worth observing these patterns more closely. Her excuses or explanations for these shifts might also feel vague or repetitive. She might suddenly cancel plans, act irritable without cause, or become less available, offering reasons like, "I'm just stressed," or "things are crazy right now." While these may occasionally be valid, consistent changes without deeper explanations could indicate something more significant happening behind the scenes. Additionally, notice how she interacts with you after these behavioral shifts. Does she overcompensate with affection or reassurance after pulling back or disappearing? This could suggest she's trying to make up for lost time or attention spent elsewhere. These cycles of pulling away and re-engaging can create emotional instability in the relationship, making it difficult to trust the connection. Unexplained and sudden changes in behavior are often signs of divided focus or emotional juggling. Stoicism teaches us to remain calm, avoid making hasty assumptions, and observe the situation with clarity and reason. If her behavior feels inconsistent, it's important to address it openly and honestly. A healthy and genuine relationship should be built on consistency, trust, and transparency. If any of these elements are missing, it may be a sign that the relationship doesn't align with your values and emotional needs. Thank you for watching today's video on the subtle signs she may be involved with multiple partners. As we've discussed, behaviors like inconsistent communication, emotional distance, or unexplained shifts in her actions can be red flags in any relationship. However, it's essential not to jump to conclusions or foster mistrust, but instead to observe these patterns with a calm and rational mindset, much like Stoic wisdom encourages us to do. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever noticed any of these signs in a relationship? How did you handle it? And did it change the way you view trust and connection? Share your thoughts, experiences, or advice in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you found value in this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future content on relationships, self-improvement, and Stoic principles. By engaging with this community, we create a space to learn, grow, and support one another. As a final thought, remember this Stoic principle. We cannot control others, only how we respond to their actions. If something feels off, trust yourself, observe with clarity, and prioritize your peace. The right relationship will align with your values, respect your time, and honor your trust. Thanks again for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, stay mindful, and continue striving to become the best version of yourself. Until next time.